because of the the help that we get from the Quranic guidance. And
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
looking forward to you sharing.
Well, inshallah. So, whenever we're ready to start, you just let me know.
Okay, we YouTube is showing that we're
Okay.
okay, that we're live streaming. So
Okay.
let me formally open up. Uh,
Okay.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That is with God's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. We we say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Abdul Rasuluhu. And that is, we witness that nothing is worthy of our worship or devotion besides Allah, and we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad is his servant and messenger. Um, Welcome to Not Just Talk, the program designed to encourage us to get in where we fit in and identify how we can best serve making life better uh, in the family, in the community, and in America. So I'm your host, Michael Hamin, and we're glad that you're with us. We have as our guest Imam Muhammad Abdul Haleem. And the focus again, Imam, is what?
Focus is on Ramadan and the importance of understanding of the directional language within the Ramadan fast and rituals, inshallah.
I see. Yes. So you have the floor, Imam.
Okay. Okay. Well, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammad Abdul Rasul. I begin with Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, merciful redeemer. I give open witness that there's nothing worthy of worship besides Allah, the one and only who has no associates or partners. And I give open witness that Muhammad, to whom the Quran was revealed, is his servant and messenger. And today I want to kind of continue with the same line of progression we're on, but I want to specifically focus in on the upcoming Ramadan. But I want to come at it from this perspective. Uh, if I want to take you back to when the proper way to fast Ramadan was introduced to the following at that time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was making the transition. All right, and because prior to that time, 1975 February, we fast in December. All right, and then when the Imam Muhammad became the leader, we transitioned into the universal fasting that all Muslims do following the lunar calendar. Right, it's very important that we understand it. Uh, so for 33 years during the time of Imam Muhammad, we had a complete what I call Ramadan cycle. A Ramadan cycle is this when you fast in every season over a period of 33 years. All right, you got to keep that in mind. Over a period of, that means that for us, for example, we started in the summer of 1975.
Yes.
So by the summer of 2008, we had gone 33 years. All right. Now we're in our second cycle. All right, we've been in, and so we're in February. We're back in February of 2026. Right. So we're in the second Ramadan cycle. Right. Because it's every 29 to 30 days, but it moves about 10 days every month. Every year. All right. So it's important for us to know that Ramadan cycles are, it's like, best way for me to give you is this. What day is Christmas?
December 25th.
Okay, that's the day they said that Jesus was born.
Yes.
Okay, so it's every what?
Every
December.
year. Every December 25th.
Okay, what day is Easter?
Now that's determined, uh, I think, with the solstice. I'm not sure.
Okay, now that's the day he died, right? See,
Oh
that's
yes, yes,
that's the day
yes.
he
I'm sorry.
died, though, right?
Yes.
He died he died on we call Good Friday, and he was resurrected on Easter, which is a
Yes.
Sunday, right?
Yes.
Now, do the December 25th, the day he was born, moves throughout the week?
For Easter?
No, no,
No,
Christmas.
no, December. I'm sorry. No, it doesn't change.
It
Oh yeah.
does.
Well, the days change.
The
Yes.
days change but it's still December 25th. The
Yes. The
date's the
date.
same,
Date the same.
but the
Yes.
day it's not gonna be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right. Right.
Okay, so I want you to think about why don't the day that he died move throughout the week?
That's an interesting question.
That's what you think about. See, this what when we begin to bring the teaching of Islam to the community of Imam W. We wanted it was the struggle. Excuse me, was to get us to begin to think. So I want you to think about that you got a person's death and a person's birth. The birth don't change. It's December 25th, but the death change,
Yes.
right? And people don't think about the fact that wait, now if you died on a Monday, what today? Wednesday
Thursday.
February the 5th,
Thursday the 5th. Yes.
Thursday the 5th. Then next year, Thursday the 5th, will be the anniversary.
Yeah.
Not,
Question.
understand what I'm saying?
Why is this important to Muslims?
Because Muslims follow a lunar calendar where the date do change,
That's right.
right? Whereas Christians, for their birth, they follow a solar calendar where the date changes, but they follow a lunar calendar when the death is celebrated. Because it has to be on a what? A
Sunday.
Sunday, right? So that should make us think that, hey, wait, how is that possible?
Hmm.
The date you died don't change,
It's curious.
huh? Right?
Yeah.
So I want you to keep that in mind as we think about the Ramadan, because see, Ramadan is a lunar month, right? So most Ramadan is a religious month, just
Yes.
as Easter is a religious day, right?
Hmm.
A religious day that they try to it moves in terms of they move it to make sure it's always on Sunday,
That's right.
right? So we will think about how well for us as Muslims, we sometimes get the Ramadan confused with being a solar month. That
Hmm.
we want it to be the same time all the time. No, it's not. It is based on the movement of the moon, not the movement of the sun. That's the first thing I want you to think about.
That's
All
right.
right.
Hmm.
Now, one of the first things that we were taught that man means mind, right?
Yes.
Remember that expression? And woman means womb of mind. Okay.
Yes.
Now, well, what does, okay, that's in English. Now I want you to translate that back into Arabic. What word in Arabic are we using for man?
There's several.
No, no, no. In this expression, no. Because
Mind.
man means mind. There are
Zaka.
several words for man in the
Yes.
Quran. That's you're absolutely right. But which one are we using in that definition?
Zaka.
Hmm?
Zeka?
It means to think, all right? Dhikr means to think, but does it mean mind?
Mm. Aku.
Akal, yes, the akal. The akal means mind.
Mm.
Dhikr means the process of the mind, thinking.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, all right. Now, Ellen Sand is the word that is for most classical translations of the Quran by Arabic speakers is the word El Insan, the human being. El
Mm.
Insan. Or if you want to translate it, everything, the man, right? But the word that is in this expression is man means mind. So you got to find a word that can be translated from the Arabic word is going to come out the equal in its meaning, uh, uh, man and mind, right? These two
Mm.
words got to be equal.
I follow.
Okay, okay. So now that I want you to think about that. So we got a couple things we want you to think about tonight. Showing you how the Ramadan, all right, the Ramadan comes to give us what I've mentioned several times, directional language, a way of looking at,
Yes.
all right, a way of looking at uh, uh, this particular book, the Quran, and this particular month, Ramadan, all right? So
Yes.
now, what else is connected with Ramadan? This idea of, say, fasting, all right? Fasting, all right? And also, one other thing I want you to think about while we have this discussion tonight is a very important thing that Ramadan fasting is supposed to teach us, and that's what, that's taqwa. Now,
Yes.
taqwa is usually translated as uh, fear, uh, God consciousness of things. Okay, so therefore, so here we got another very important concept that has to be understood because for most of us, when we go to fast Ramadan, we're thinking about what?
Not eating or
Not
drinking.
eating, right? So for us, Ramadan is a physical act,
Mm.
not the spiritual act, intellectual act. Because if man means mind, right, and if this particular activity, it says, Allah says, "La'allakum tattaqun," perhaps you may learn consciousness, right? Think about it. If in order to become a man, to become a mind, you must do what? Become what?
Conscious.
Conscious, right?
Something comes to my mind in terms of
Ah,
obedience,
oh, well, that's coming. That's coming. That's coming. All right.
discipline.
The discipline, all that comes though, but that's come after the mind comes awake.
Okay.
It don't you don't stop with the discipline.
Mm.
You learn. You learn. In fact, in another surah, Allah says, and speaking of the human soul, He says, "وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا." All right, that's in Surah 90, the 90th
Mm.
surah of the Quran, the 9th and 10th verses. All right, so you got something going here. You got it, and I say again, in this discussion, we're discussing Ramadan, yes, but to get the benefit, you have to know the language and the conditions for Ramadan, right?
Mm.
And it's not just what we call fasting, because most people they think of fasting as abstaining from eating food,
Yes.
right? And if for them, they go through the rituals of Ramadan. They get from sun up to sundown, right? But that's another point. Let's look at that for a minute before we get into um,
Okay.
what is the first meal of the day normally called in English? The first
Sahur.
meal, huh? No,
Sahur.
the first meal, first thing you eat in the morning is called what?
Sahur.
No, 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 no. I'm not talking
Oh,
about in Arabic. Tell me in English first.
breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay.
Okay.
What's the last meal that you eat after you fast? Or what is the first meal you eat after you fast?
Iftar,
Iftar. What does that mean?
breaking the fast.
Breakfast. You say it fast, say it slow. It's the same word, right? Am I
Yeah,
right or wrong? See,
yeah,
see,
you're right.
see, see. What we do is we pick up terms. My point is just that we pick up terms. We don't. We're not. You got to have your mind turned on to get the different uh, 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 profound concepts of the conscious mind.
And
Because
it
the
is
purpose of
profound.
fasting is what? That you may learn taqwa. And
Taqwa, yeah,
taqwa, we say, is obedience. We say is consciousness. We say all these things in that one word. All right. But if you don't see how the language in its simplistic form is telling you a lot of things. For example, you mentioned the term suhoor. What does suhoor mean?
well, it's breaking the fast, the first meal, right?
No,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the Arabic.
okay.
Uh,
Okay, but you use the word. All
yes,
that's my point. We use these words without understanding the concept behind them. All right. Suhoor means to be vigilant, to be on guard. All right. So in the morning, when you have suhoor, you're supposed to be very vigilant of the fact that you're now
I follow.
going to enter into the disciplines of taqwa, of God consciousness, all right? And you have made an agreement, made a called a niyyah, an intention to abstain from certain activities that themselves are halal. There's nothing haram about eating food.
Permissible.
Huh?
You said halal. I'm
Halal
remember.
food.
I'm remembering the YouTube audience as we're speaking. Uh,
Uh,
halal, halal is what is permissible.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Halal is what is permissible. That's one way to look at it.
Yes.
But I'm saying that, but the action you're doing during the daylight hours that you're not doing are not haram. They're not forbidden.
That's right.
All right. So you have to be on guard. Suhoor. You have the suhoor, which is a mental state where you are alert to your own behavior.
Mm,
Because now you can you things that you normally could do, you don't do.
right.
Right. So but now in this particular mode, you are not in the disciplines of Ramadan when you just eat.
You
Am I right?
follow
If
without consciousness.
the conscience got to be there,
Yes.
that I'm not supposed to eat. I'm disciplining my mind. We're trying to go back to get the right orientation.
Yes.
Now, why am I okay? We're almost back to fasting. Why am I fasting then?
To please God.
To please God. Fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, that you may learn taqwa. Who is prescribing this?
Allah.
Okay, Allah. Okay, that's all right. Allah, I'm not. Look,
I'm
don't think
right
if I
with
ask
you.
you these questions that I'm
No,
asking.
no. I'm
I'm,
right with you.
huh?
I'm right with you.
Okay, I want you to be with me. I don't want to lose you. That's the purpose. That's why I want you. I'm trying not to use any terminology that you can't explain. Because what happened was, as a community, we made this transition without definitions.
I
And
see.
the definition is the direction for the logic. If you don't know where the direction, where you're trying to go, you be using terminologies without knowing where that terminology is taking you.
I see. It's
The, the,
like jargon.
it's jargon, rhetoric. It doesn't have the
Yes.
same meaning to you.
Yes.
If you know what you're saying, Now, oh buddy, now you begin to get the real power of your what? Your mind. Because your mind now is gonna seek what? How to develop. And how do you develop your mind? Through the study of the Quran.
Yes.
See, that's why the Quran it says of itself, the Quran comes down in a night of power.
Mm.
All right, we'll call it later to go. We'll come to that later, but right now, I wanted to get you into think about some of the common definitions we use.
Mm.
That if we understood what we were saying, it gives a whole new perspective on the fast of Ramadan.
Better utility.
Yes, and execution of even
Yeah.
the rituals we got to do. Because
Yes.
just doing the rituals without understanding the reasoning behind it, you know, and think about it. The way the Quran talks about Ramadan in Surah Baqarah, ayah 183 and 184 and 183 and 84 and 85 talk about the Quran, 185. What it does is that it gets you, it shows you that it's not about the physical act, because it also gives you reason, logic, what happens when you cannot fast. So
Yeah.
if fasting, not eating food, I'm talking about fasting, was the main focus of the fast of Ramadan, why will Allah give you a long surah, a long ayah on what to do if you can't do the physical fast?
Yes.
If you're on a journey, if you're sick, if you miss days, right? You have reason. You know, all these things right there in that those three eyes. Number one, it is a prescription. All right, it's a prescription. It gives us the same prescription to all people. But in fact, when you study the way that it's constructed, fasting is prescribed for all of the all life forms. If an animal gets sick, it don't want to eat.
I've seen that.
Yes, it's part of it. But this particular discipline here is what? For what the purpose again?
Please Allah.
No, it doesn't say that. Allah doesn't say that. That you may learn
Oh, taqwa. Regarding
taqwa.
Allah.
Okay, so that means that we gotta do a deep dive now on taqwa in order for us to understand why, you know, obedience to fasting is for Allah. We know that's one of the hadith for Qudsi. But we're talking about, we were looking a little deeper into that. And we're not just quoting the you know, that we looking, why did Allah prescribe it?
Yes.
That we may learn taqwa. And the taqwa helps develop us by definition, because what man means what?
Mind.
Mind. So the fasting going to help develop your mind, right? The fasting going to develop your mind because it's teaching you how to discipline your thoughts. I'm giving you for example. How many times have you went to make prayer and your mind was on something else, even though you're praying?
Many times.
And many times, all kind of bizarre thoughts start coming in. Now, you're trying to pray, and you're praying to Allah, right? But something is bothering you. You have to shake your head and do something to get that all these other conflicting thoughts to subside. You got to discipline your thinking,
Yes.
right? It's not that you don't want to pray, but just, you know, you have all these other conflicting thoughts. You think about what happened yesterday, what you're gonna do after the prayer is over, and all kind of stuff like that. Because man means what?
Mind.
Mind. So you got to get the discipline over your own mind, not just your body. Because many people who even came out of the Nation of Islam could go and eat one meal a day, right? Eat one meal a day. So not eating can't be the purpose of the fast when it tells you that you may learn God consciousness or discipline, or different words you can use for that.
Yes.
Right. So that's what we want to get people to focus on, because if you want to become a truly human being, you have to discipline your thinking,
Yes.
right? And what happens is that, and once you discipline your thinking, you'll see that what the ritual of Ramadan has done has turned your life upside down. As you said earlier, you said that the first meal of the day in the month of Ramadan, the ritual month of Ramadan, I should say, is called suhoor. The first meal at the end of Ramadan, as you're going into the night, is called iftar. That's
Yes.
breakfast. But suhoor, as I say again, is to be vigilant, because now you're gonna be not eating. That's true, but you got to be really aware of what you allow get into your mind.
My behavior as well.
Your behavior comes from your thinking,
Yes.
right? If I can affect your behavior, trust me. Excuse me, if I can affect your thinking, I'm definitely gonna affect your behavior, and that's what you see a lot of that now with the whole rise of the technology now.
Yes.
A person who knows how to affect your thinking can get you to be. Like, talk to some of the young people. I said, look, you have power over your smartphone.
Yes.
All right. But during Ramadan, you can't even put it down enough to go pray. All right. But yet you got control over it. So something, you can become so mesmerized, even though you have the control, yes, but you can't use it because it has affected your thinking. So therefore, your behavior is going to be an expression of your behavior. All right. So we found a
How
lot. Go ahead. Go ahead.
how does our emotions where do the emotions the sensitivities come
Well,
in
okay, look at it. Go back there. The word "sown." Sown is which is translated as "cm." The verb is seen as being the word they translate for fast. Its root goes back to the idea of taming a horse. All right, horse. All right. So when and like you have a car, and it says you got 400 horsepower. Right now, the word horse, not horse, but the power of the horse is connected to the word cm. So fasting, you're learning how to do what? Control what? The
the horse?
horse. The horse.
Yes.
Trying to control the horse, right? So it's prescription how to. So the whole idea is that you have to learn to control your emotion, which is a driving force. Your emotion can be more challenging controlling your emotion than controlling your appetite. Your appetites, your emotion, all these things are horses, right? They're horses that you got to learn how to control. That's why the fasting on the physical side, and I'm talking about the physical fasting, is that you're learning how to discipline the drives, the drive.
Okay. Okay.
All right, that it comes from that word, siyam, som. All right, and you remember, I don't know if you ever seen how they control horses. They put a bridle in the mouth,
Bit.
right? They call it a bit, right? So you
Yes.
can't, right? You can't eat something going across your mouth. So that's the connection between the fasting, because you got to eat.
And the sensitivities in the horse's mouth makes it respond like you want it to respond.
Right. Now you controlling it.
Yes. I
All
see
right.
that.
You see that? Right. That's a good example that you want to understand the meaning behind the expression. Right.
Yes.
Right. And is the actual demonstration in a human life to fasting. Right. Are you with me? You with me? In other words,
I'm having to think about that. Go ahead.
think about, if I don't learn to control my passions and my drives, somebody else will do a manipulation of what I allow to go in through my mind,
I
because
hear you.
man means mind,
Yes.
not just what I put in my stomach. All right. That's why I say again, a person can fast. We use the word fast, but that don't really control him, because he can go without eating.
Yes.
Now, they do voluntary fast. They go on hunger strikes,
That's right.
right? So, but that doesn't control them. But when I'm able to affect your mental state, by way of controlling what you allow to eat, and I'm not talking about eating food. I've seen over the years, I've seen how people who not understanding these concepts are good Muslims, but they're not fully developed. So they pick up habits that control them. And even during Ramadan, I've seen some brothers, like when I lived in Mecca, they couldn't wait to get outside to smoke a cigarette. They wasn't
I,
eating the cigarette; they were smoking it.
I've seen it.
Yeah. So it was something that they hadn't controlled, but they were able to control it for the time until the time of the iftar,
Yes.
right? So obviously, not, and a lot of these brothers were born and raised in Islam and in Muslim countries, but they didn't understand the science, the spiritual sciences behind what they had been doing all their life. Therefore, when the West, when a modern culture began to influence their society, they couldn't. They could do the rituals. They couldn't handle this the subliminals of Western philosophical thought.
I follow you. Yes.
Yeah, and
Now
and and they were surprised that we could go all day on one meal.
That's true.
When I share with them the history of our history here in America, they were amazed. They were, what? You didn't eat? No, we didn't eat. And we're going back to the taqwa is the discipline that you're
Yes.
doing out of obedience to Allah and out of love for Allah. You think that Allah is pleased with this, so you do it. That's your taqwa.
Yeah. I connect that with the saying of
Mm.
Prophet Muhammad in terms of, if you're not improving your behavior, you're only going hungry and thirsty.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And in fact, there's another one. He said that if you are talking bad about someone, backbiting, then he said, which was take the meat from between your teeth.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
So I bring these things to you because I want to see that as Islam grows and more people are learning about the rituals, it's up to us to teach them beyond that, because if all they got is the rituals, they're going to be defeated when it comes to the challenges of this society, because it takes more to fight the schemes of Satan than rituals.
I can see that.
You have to know the what is implied meaning and what is the literal meaning. And most times we take the literal meaning and don't get the implied meaning. Right? And, like I say again, uh, we have to know who. This is a question everybody should ask themselves: who or what am I allowing to affect my thinking? And be conscious of that. Because somebody or something is always going to be affecting your thinking. Because I gave an example. Are you going to get ready to pray? Pray to Allah. That's what you say. But you can't focus on that
Well,
because
most
because
times we're not aware of the
that
influence.
That what I'm saying though, because we're not conscious. Taqwa is a consciousness,
Yes.
right? And if you're not conscious, and I said again that when we go out from the go out from the for our daily activities at the prayer. I mean after the fasting overnight, because when you sleep, you're fasting. You're not eating, right?
That's right.
That's just a type of fast. So I eat the if I eat the sahur, but sahur is telling me to be alert.
Mm.
The word means to be alert. So don't, I'm just not just I ate the sahur. Now I go out, I'm not alert to what's going on.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So this is where we're at today. So now let's move on to the next part of this. Again, definitions are very important because I say again, who or what you allow to affect your thinking is gonna influence your behavior, your emotions, your passions. All are gonna be influenced by who or whatever you let affect your thinking. And if you don't make a conscious effort to do that, and we've seen it just in our own limited circle. We are allowing things to affect us relationship to the commentary of the Imam because we have not made the type of serious study of the commentary. So we we went through one Ramadan cycle, those 33 years of his life. But as we begin the second cycle, the next 33 years, we about what since 2008. So I mean, and so you're looking at we did about 17 years now, right? We're about halfway through, and more people who were in the first 33 years are kind of falling away in the second 33 years because they didn't do the type of serious study, so they can better understand what is affecting their thinking. And you find a lot of people they quote the Imam by words, but not by deeds, action. All right, and
That's
that's
right.
why you find it in many communities, or many massages, many associations around the country are having a hard time. And inshallah, during the Ramadan, they may come back together, but they got to do a type of serious, deep dive thinking, I call it, on the commentary based on how it relates to the Quran.
Yes.
If you don't do that, I'm telling you, you lose not only those individuals, but they lose their family members, children who were raised in the masjid, now in the street, and other social movements.
Mm.
Those who were raised in the commentary now think that that's not good enough, so they're following dead letter scripture from some other our community. Right now, you find that, brother. I look at how many people. If you go on the internet and look at different, there are so many different thoughts out there now. Oh my goodness, so many people, and as we get near Ramadan, you got people coming from overseas, these great sheikhs who wouldn't look. I can remember back in the 70s and 80s, you had different of the scholars wouldn't even come to America. No, they wouldn't even speak English.
That's right.
But now all of a sudden they want to come to us and teach us the Quran over America. But where were you at when we were doing the heavy lifting of getting America right for really the proper expression of Islam? Think about it.
I I don't find much appeal in
No,
terms
I know
of
you
the
don't.
logic,
No,
that we
no,
would
no, no,
use
no.
to
Let
get
me, interject. So you don't because you have made a commitment, whether consciously or unconsciously, to follow the commentary of the Imam.
that's true.
So you're rooted in a mindset. You already got it. But we are older. I'm talking a lot of the younger Muslims have made that a commitment. They didn't understand the transitional language and got the definitions. So in the definition is a direction for the logic, right? If you didn't get the definition for the logic, you won't make the connection between man means mind and the development of your own thinking. See, because see, the idea of man means mind, for example, means that you have to develop independent thinking. You can't just go borrow somebody else's mind, their thoughts, and quote them without having a type of sensitivity about where it's going. That's why I go back to the example of the birth of Jesus. They say is Christmas. That's fixed, but the death is fluctuating.
It's an interesting logic there.
Yeah, and you got to understand who's doing this manipulation. Right? It's just
Yeah.
some powerful psychology going on there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and you got and it's so subtle. It'll pass. It'll be over your head. You won't even know it. You say, "Well, I
So,
never thought about that." You did
so,
think about it, but you wasn't conscious that you were thinking about it.
yeah. So we can't lead these young people to their own devices then.
That's right. That's right. That's why we have to be able to come up with situations where we can try to get them to think. You got to give them like mind puzzles. You can't tell them how to think or what to think, but you got to show them that they got to think.
Mm.
If you don't show them, and if you try to make them, they're gonna rebel anyway.
Oh, that doesn't work at all.
No,
Uh,
it don't work. Absolutely don't work.
I've,
But
I've
you
read.
got to know consciously that you may learn taqwa, that you got to, because you'll find that a lot of young people see Ramadan as the time to, I won't say play Muslim, but they come out of the woodwork as Muslims. They wasn't no Muslims last month, but now coming Ramadan, man, oh man, they got on the garb, they got on the, but they don't have the thinking. We got to get, the challenge that they have. They don't realize they got. I mean, every human being on the planet, they got this challenge. You got AI, you got robotics, you got genetic engineering, you got all kinds of new scientific in the revolution.
Yes.
You got to be prepared how to put that in perspective. Give you for example, uh, they say AI means what?
Artificial intelligence.
Okay, now go back. You can go research this too. There was a time when AI meant augmented intelligence. That they're thinking about putting a plug right here on your cerebral cortex and downloading information straight into your brain. You probably forgot that because what happened was a person got their mind, they lost their mind, they lost their, it didn't work. So a bad experiment looks bad for the whole process. So they stopped
Yes.
calling it that, and they said what we're going to do is make machines that we can give them the ability to think and all that. And then it became artificial. Before it was augmented because you're just going to do it straight from a machine, straight to the brain. A lot of people forget this, but as a scientist, I remember to do that. That was a big part of the science going back to the latter part of the 70s. It was real big.
In
Augmented intelligence. Now it's
in
artificial. All
in
right.
uh, in in connecting with these people that are teaching quote unquote artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
they tell us that it is, you could use the word augment as well because it assists it assists the thinking because of the collective body of knowledge that it is very quickly able to access
Right. That's right.
for,
You're right.
for solving, according to one of the instructors that I've listened to, it's for solving problems. It does not deal with right brain activity. The left brain deals with puzzles, solving problems,
Mm-hmm.
but the right brain deals with the more comprehensive ideas of humanity, compassion, empathy.
Right, but
The,
it doesn't deal in that area.
no,
No, no. In fact, that whole area is what going to make us different from the machines that we make.
I follow.
It's empathy and compassion, and stuff that are uniquely human.
Yes.
They're not just accumulation of information.
Even the language, I understand the psychology of calling this augmented or problem solving ability of these algorithms by calling it artificial. It gives a particular meaning to this
Absolutely.
concept rather than calling it something that assists the intelligence. But
Right.
you have to maintain your control over your thinking. Again, going back
That's
to the
right. That you
original.
may learn taqwa.
Yes. Praise
Absolutely.
be to
Well, that I'm trying to think what ayah it is in the Quran. Says for everything that Allah create, man has tried to, Satan try to do the same things. A big part of the beauty of things like the Ramadan
yes.
is that just like Easter. Easter stays on Sunday, whereas the birth of the Christ nature moves. Christmas, it moves.
Yes.
Right, it's moved throughout that week. Right.
But
So
they have put so much stuff in front of that idea.
because see, remember, because they're trying to make their own human being. It's a whole nother discussion. Maybe another night we'll discuss that. But you'll see that that's why learning how to have taqwa requires going back to our basic definition. Man means what?
Mind.
Mind. So now, if you don't develop your mind, somebody's going to do that too.
Yes.
See, so it's all these things connect. All these
So
things can.
so we have this social problem in terms of what I'm saying. We've been socialized to think a certain way,
Yeah,
but
that's right.
we don't really know how the human being operates. The human being that Allah created operates.
Well, that's why we have to go back and look at uh, the basic definition that we gave. If you're not thinking for yourself, somebody else is controlling you,
Yes.
right? And that's why Allah says. I think I mentioned the ayat earlier. It says, "فَأَلْهَمَهَا." It says, "وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا." Allah says it starts in the soul.
Hmm.
The human being has a soul, but that soul has to be enlightened to its sensitivity to what says the fujur, which is its curiosity and its taqwa and its sensitivity to be cautious and think about. All right. Now, if you're not thinking about these things, you can be reading the Quran and get seduced away from your right self. Right. So that's why the next part of what I want to talk about was this: is that as, when you're learning the taqwa, Allah tells us that the month of Ramadan, Shahru Ramadan. Now we want to get into how Allah is giving us a discipline during this month that will help us develop our mind, which is man means mind. Now we back at our definitions. And what's going to happen during this month, we're going to study the book that's going to make you in the way that God intended. If you approach it with the right mind, and it starts with what Al-Fatiha, open your mind up to what God says. Trust what God says. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. He says that is the book. In it is God. In it is guidance, show without doubt for those who are muttaqin, those who are conscious of Almighty God, conscious of the fact that they are mine, right? Not just conscious, but you're conscious that the way you should be thinking should be on God, and that's why the word muttaqin and tetakun is the same word, same root word, I should say. Right? And once you begin to make those connections, go back now to what he talks about Ramadan. The guidance, you just be guided to become fully human, you have to have a guidance on how to navigate all these pitfalls and maintain your common humanity. But you can't get that unless you first start out with the fact that you are to be a mind. You're supposed to have your own thinking. That is in submission to Almighty God, that disciplined by the word of God. If your thinking is not disciplined by the word of God, oh, the world got you, buddy.
Mm.
And have you, man, you may think you some type of saint and you a devil. Because remember it says Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran huda huda is guidance. Lil muttaqin is guidance for the whole of humanity. Well, bayinat min al huda. It says what? It says the month of Ramadan is guidance, huda, for humanity and rational. Bayinat means clarity. Clarity in your thinking. Clarity in your thinking, because everybody be thinking. This is where you thinking you know something, you don't know nothing.
Question
Mm-hmm.
about the importance of the sincerity of the heart, the sentiments, proper sentiments,
Mm-hmm.
in connection with this proper thinking. How do
Mm-hmm.
how do how do we look at that?
Well, we make sure go back. I used the word earlier about discipline and obedience. You try to follow sincerely what Allah instructs you. Don't mean you're going to do it perfectly all the time. It doesn't mean that. It means the attempt is there. That's where the sincerity comes in. You're going to make mistakes. That's why we have, like with the fast, if I mistakenly pick up something I eat in the middle of the day, did I break my fast?
No, no, that was unconscious.
Right. So things that I'm not conscious of are not considered as a violation. But if I consciously, man, I'm tired of this, man, I'm gonna eat me something, that doesn't look good. Now I'm in rebellion. So sincerity means that even if you make a mistake, and look at our father Adam.
Yes.
Both Adam and Iblis made a mistake. Right. But Adam turned to the Lord and asked for forgiveness. What did Iblis do?
He was insistent.
Right. And he did not admit his mistake. He did
Yes.
not make tawbah. In fact, he wanted to prove that he was right and God was wrong.
Yeah. He was stressing his thinking above what the creator who
That's
created
right.
him.
And the thing it was not in line with what was in the revelation, the huda, the guidance.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I say you can't just not just matter of you thinking. You gotta be thinking in the way that God wants you to think. Be consistent. You gotta discipline your thing. Like I said, the man who's going to pray, he got good intentions, but he makes a mistake. Do you just ignore that mistake? No, he has things you can do to correct mistakes, even in prayer.
This idea of unconditional, you hear this saying unconditional love. And how does
Yeah,
that,
that's Satan.
how,
That's Satan. That's Satan. No, God doesn't. Allah in the Quran makes it very clear. Some things He loves, some things He don't like.
yes.
Satan. It sounds nice, don't it, unconditional.
Oh, it really it has a hard appeal.
Yeah, I'm saying, but it appeals, but it's illogical.
Yeah,
If you
everything
look
that
at
God,
if you look at the things that God said He does not like, and the people He don't like, because it's behaviors that consciously go against what God is giving you guidance for. The key thing is the guidance. Once
hmm,
you get the guidance, like you can have a person, you can have a whole civilization that's savage, what we call savage, the people living out in the wild. They hardly got any clothes on, but they're sincere. They hunt with arrow, bow, and everything. They're sincere, but they have a false concept, the wrong idea of God. Right? The truth comes to them, and they put down the false idea. Now, does God hold them, uh, 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 you know, uh, 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 say responsible for the time that they had the wrong idea?
No, not according to the guidance.
Right. That's right. But once they get the guidance and they still insist on doing the wrong thing, now there's a consciousness there that gives behavior that you know better than God.
Mm.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. It's always, and I said a good example was our own our community. Uh, the behavior that we had in terms of concept of God before 75 was proven wrong, greatly wrong. That's
That's
why I
right.
said the Imam worked like night and day to free us from those false concepts. Because had the judgment came in the beginning of 75, all of us would have went to hell because we would have false worship.
Yes.
But by the fact that the man worked night and day, I mean day and night, speaking for 5, 6, 7 hours, and giving us the right concept. Now we can be judged according to what we know of the right concepts. And now here comes the mercy of God, because we were not on the sooner path,
Yes.
right? So that's the difference. Huda Linas will be Yanati minute of Huda. Guidance for humanity and clear arguments from the guidance.
That's the bayonet.
That's the bayonet. Clear, sober, rational arguments. So that means that if I come to you and I give you the guidance, then I give you clear and sober, rational arguments from that. Now, now the believer submit,
Yes.
even though he may have had the wrong concepts before. When the right concepts come to him, he submits.
We were given such a masterful introduction to the Quran in terms of the patterns and the logic of guidance. You know, the questions and the narratives. Like one profound question the Creator asks of believers: why do you say what you don't do?
Right.
That,
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Yeah.
powerful question.
Yes.
In,
Well, I
in
tell you,
terms,
since you mentioned that, we won't do it in this lecture. I don't want to put too much in it, but uh,
yes.
when you study in the Quran, right, I'm see if I can find that that I got a whole stack of papers where I studied all the questions in the Quran. For example, the
Mm.
first question in the Quran. Did I talk to you about this before?
No, sir. No,
Okay. Well,
sir.
anyway, I'll say that if you start from Fatiha
Mm-hmm.
and you go to Baqarah, the first question was chapter Baqarah 2, chapter 2, verse 13. All right. And it's a question that's asked by the enemy of man to put doubt in it.
Mm.
The question was used as a doubt, a mechanism for creating doubt. All right. That's why you find in the Quran, remember, it says the book is for those la rayba fi. There's no
Mm-hmm.
doubt in it.
Yes.
But if I can create doubt in your mind, if the doubt's not in the book, the doubt's where?
If it's not in the book, it's in my thinking, right?
That's right. That's right. So if I can create doubt in your thinking, that's why Allah comes back now and He challenges that uh, 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 if there is a doubt as to what we have revealed, this again in Baqarah 2, verse 21. If there is a doubt as to what we have revealed to our servants from time to time, then produce a surah like it. And that was really geared for time we in now. With all your AI, all your computation, everything you got now, produce one surah. And it didn't say produce Baqarah, which is 286 verses. Produce, say, Asa, three
One
verses.
verse.
One Asa is 19 words, 3 verses.
Mm.
They haven't been able to do it. In fact, if you go and ask AI, just give yourself a little example. You can do a little homework. Ask AI whether you're using Chat GPT or Genesis, whatever, uh, can the Quran be reproduced? Yeah, go ask. You know what I'm saying? By the time we get back next Thursday, ask.
Yes.
Correct.
I,
And I'm telling you, anybody who listens, anybody you know, ask. You know, with
Imam,
all the, with
I
all
asked.
that, you know,
Go ahead.
all that it knows, all right, can it produce one surah? Because that is what's called the challenge of the Quran. It challenged those who don't believe in the Quran to produce something better.
Well, and I looked at it when I looked over it repeatedly. I'm seeing in terms of the history of man, the
Mm-hmm.
result, the results that those chapters produce. Not just the literal presentation of words, but the results of those words on human civilization.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying to you though is that let's say a person don't believe that. You don't look at the results. You say, well, we doing all this now. Ask them then to do what Allah says to do. Produce a, produce one chapter like the Quran.
Yeah.
I mean, if you all that you've seen, you don't believe. Think about it, because then, and it's not to the common man, by the way. You know that it is to the common man, but it's not. A lot of people talk about the scientific community says that there are trillions of planets and trillions of galaxies with planets, and as far as we know, there's only one place that has life on human life. Out of all these trillions, I mean millions, thousands. So how can you doubt that there is a creator? But they do.
Yes.
I remember having when I was a student back in college, and I remember having an argument with some of the professors. I said, you want me to believe that you know something about the universe, all right? And and we own a little speck of dust, but you won't give credit to whatever or whoever did all this. You won't acknowledge that. So why should I acknowledge your knowledge when we only here for a brief moment of time?
Yes.
That's a whole nother story.
And I'm thinking of the language of God in challenging these uh, these influential thinkers, you
Yes.
know, to use up, to use up, the Western mind has this idea of limitations, of
Right.
of of lack, of scarcity. But Allah challenges that Western mind
Mm-hmm.
to just use it up.
Yeah.
And then man comes to find out, okay, I'm not respecting the water like I should respect it. So I've got
Mm-hmm.
pollution. I've got to solve the problem of pollution, and other
All,
problems.
all the problems they caused, but still, is one.
Exactly.
Even if he didn't solve, this is one of those speck of dust. Earth is not so important in the scheme of Allah that if Earth were to disappear, it would change the balance of the universe.
That's right.
Yeah. But like I said again, we talk about that another time because there were questions in the Quran. I got a whole
Yeah.
series of pamphlets that I did years ago. I looked at all the different questions, and I think I was telling you about this the other day about I'm doing the surah now, Surah Rahman,
Uh-huh.
and it
Yeah,
asks the
I
question,
remember. Yes.
right? But I told you that in that surah, there's one eye that's not the same. It's not a question, not the same as all the other questions. The
Mm.
basic question of that surah is, which of the favors of your Lord would you deny?
Yes.
All right. But then it's surah that's throughout Surah 55. But in I I 60 in that same surah, the question is here. It says, Hal Jazaa Issa illa Issa. What is the reward for excellence other than excellence? That
Yes.
so Allah showed you that He give you all these blessings, all these favors, Allah. Give you all these Allah. But then He asks, well, what and all the things that produce excellence. Then He asks you, what is the reward then of excellence but excellence?
That's a probing question.
Yeah. Oh, but the question before it was, which of the favors of your Lord would you deny? فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان.
And the structure of it, as I understand it, I'm not I'm not very
No, no,
knowledgeable.
don't never get into that. You speak what you know. Don't put the negative in it.
No, this is what I'm saying in terms of what others that do know have shared, that it's which of the two favors in terms of how it's
Yeah,
presented.
yeah. Because it's talking about the two worlds, the world
Okay.
of jinn and men. فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. The band means two.
Yes.
That's the way the dual is expressed in the Arabic language. No, but what I was saying is that over the years, I find people, what they do is that whatever level of chronic Arabic you reach in your studies, alhamdulillah, that's where you're at.
Yes.
Don't spend time trying to explain that you're not there. That's not important. What's important is that you have gotten as far as you've gotten by Allah's grace, and you've gotten some out of it.
You
Because
feel
some people know they're born speaking Arabic, but don't have nowhere near the text. The guy who smoked on that cigarette, I mean, he could read the Quran better than me, but he was smoking a cigarette during Ramadan.
yeah.
So you can't give that. Let me put it this way: the Islamic world never lost the Quran. They never lost the Arabic language. They never lost our books of fiqh and Suluddin and Tafsir. But they got conquered by the philosophical works of the West.
Mm,
And here we come along. Don't A lot of us don't even know any Arabic. We barely can say our prayers.
yeah.
But we've been given a methodology of thinking that could put us in any room with a bunch of scholars, and we can hold our own by using a common sense, logical approach that Imam Muhammad has shared with us. So I don't give just knowing Arabic some type of special. No, I think the fact that in fact, I was at a conference. What year was that? 2016, maybe it was 2016 or 2017. Anyway, and they acknowledge that our Imam is a visionary because he didn't take us through the maze of misinterpretation and scriptural. He took us to the process.
Yes.
See, that's what I did with you. I said, well, man means what? I got you to
Mind.
think about your mind,
Mm,
all right? And once you think about your mind, everything has been become clear because when you begin to develop your mind, everything you learn then becomes valuable. But what sense is it to have a lot of information that you can't use? A lot of talks
well,
about that, like your donkey carry tons of books.
yeah, carrying the
But
books.
but if you have if you can share with people uh, uh, and excite their mind, all right. As we were talking, I could feel from you that you were seeing a lot more than what I was saying because your life experience was not mine. So you can hear something that I say and see much more in it than what I said.
Well, Imam has opened up a door for us. If if we
But
if we
even that door, if you go through it though, the man opened the door, but you still got to go through it.
mm,
And the man been dead since
12,
2008,
yes,
but you have had more life experience. I mean, AI wasn't a big thing when any man was teaching.
that's right.
So you are learning things and applying is the key there. What he gave you, that you can go further. The man didn't expect for us to stop thinking once he
That's
passed.
right. That's right.
He said one time, he said, "I don't want y'all to get in the grave with me."
Ah,
He said, "I want y'all to keep going
that's
until
right.
we." That's the same thing. You know, you gotta be comfortable in what Allah gave you,
Yes,
right? And even with our man, as much as we love him, we can't go and resurrect him. We have to keep moving.
yes,
All right, and we have to be able to take what we have learned and apply it to the problems we got now. The problem we had in 2008 with regards to AI are no way near the problem we got now with AI, and because they get ready to come online in the next within this year. We're all going to see, because AI has been used for a long time by the big corporations, what they call expert system, they call it. But
Yes.
now, oh, buddy, so, but I'm saying though the key, brother Michael, that but we have to learn to be comfortable in what we receive and also to apply it. The example the man gave one time that we was coming back from, was coming from Medina back to Mecca to make Hajj, to make Umrah.
Mm-hmm.
He says, in fact, there's a video on this on YouTube. I've seen it on YouTube. He said how the man who has an apple, use the apple as an example. If you eat the apple, and the apple is still the apple, you ate it. Where did the apple go?
It became nutrition for the body.
For who? For whose body?
Whoever ate it.
Whoever ate it, right? So what the point he's making us is that he wants from us to be able to take what he gave us. We eat it. We don't have to keep regurgitating. We ate the apple. Ate the apple. You use the apple and the energy you get from it to go on and do other things. That's what I always tell people. Don't be stuck on what we got. Where are we going?
Directional language.
Directional language. You have to know where we're going. And our main thing is get a certain way of thinking so we can build our community life as a demonstration that we ate the apple.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Right? If we eat the apple and all we do is talk about the fact we ate it, people say, well, okay, you ate the apple. Now what you going to do?
Got to show something.
Got to show, right? And that's where we're at right now. And I think that the believers behind us, I think, are going to understand that challenge more than we did.
Well, I'm trusting that because really, in the spirit of Imam Muhammad and other excellent teachers,
Mm-hmm.
the intent is to have the students take it further.
That's right.
And that's the spirit that I'm hoping that we will uh, follow that direction. And
Mm-hmm.
we want those coming behind us to get greater utility, application out
That's
of what
right.
what, what we have as a contribution. But the Quran is designed to continually have this process of
Mm-hmm.
becoming better and better because Allah has a direction for His creation,
That's right.
and
That's right.
He's in charge of the process.
That's right. Well, and just follow that down. We are just now knocking on the door of the Quran,
Yes,
right? So we know we're just knocking on the door, so we don't become frustrated. We know that if we keep going in the right direction and show the next generation coming behind us where to go, how to. Don't tell them what to do, but tell them you got to go down that road there. Now,
yes.
if they out of sincerity they accept the direction, they're gonna take it so far. Then there'll be another generation after them, and they'll take it so far.
The history of this life, Al Islam,
Mm.
and what the Quran tells us, and what our souls know. This thing does not depend upon numbers. This progress
That's
does
right.
not.
But I'm telling you a little secret. In Surah Baqarah, ayat 30, Allah says, "I'm going to make a Khalifa. I'm making a Khalifa.
Yes,
Yahiluna fil ardi Khalifa." Right. So we got some things. The word Khalifa comes from an idea of that which is coming behind. All right. So
yes,
a way to look at that is I'm making I'm making other generations, because the word Khalifa also means generation. All right. Generations. So we took it from 1975, with all of the confusion that we had in our thinking, we took it from there, say, to, and now let's go. Let's say uh, we get to 2050. We had the 50th anniversary. We made it. 50 years we made it.
Mm.
Some may have made as far as 2008. All right. So what would happen is that each generation has to do his or her part to move the process along. The biggest struggle has been, do we have the right direction? Because you can go down a road, a highway, 20 miles, but you may be going 20 miles in the wrong direction. So you got to come back and where you left off, where you go in the right direction and go the right direction. And that's our struggle right now. The demonstration will let us know whether or not we're on the right road. All right.
Yes, sir. And coming to the awareness that we don't have to generate some kind of new approach or strategy, that the directional language and the procedure for establishing the community is in Muhammad.
That's right.
He demonstrated
He
how to
demonstrates. That's right.
establish the
Well,
community.
I don't know that we talked about this before, but during the Ramadan is a good time to make sure we on this. Is that during Ramadan we spend a lot of time, more time together as a community, especially with the iftars at night. So
Yes,
we break the fast. One of the big areas that we struggle with, brother, is more of a sense of brotherhood within in our communities. All right. I mean, you have people who uh, been in Islam, since the beginning. They may have been even before 75, 1970, but but they haven't made that bond yet with other people who are on that same road of struggle. See that? Remember now, when the Prophet Sallallahu, when he established the Ummah in Medina, one of the first things he did was he created a brotherhood between the Ansar, those who were living in Mecca, those who lived in Medina, and the Muhajirin, those who came from Mecca. I think that part is something that we miss, but we got to get that together. We got to know that the person who is uh, uh, with us is truly our brother in faith. I don't see enough of that as I travel around.
I understand.
I mean,
And
I know.
why do you think that is, Imam?
Well, I think that a lot of our problem is so deep in terms of self hatred. That's hard to get people to trust each other in a real brotherhood if we don't love each other. I think a lot of brothers don't really, they found more brotherly love in other associations.
Yes,
And we're, among us, we're still trying to prove to each other that we know more, and we are a lot of things that I would consider almost silly, but that's where
it's
we at.
it's an immaturity, and
Yes,
trauma
but
does affects the
yeah, what
emotional
I'm saying, but our
maturity.
trauma is so deep that you got to get. I talked about this on a Sayyid al Islam. I gave a whole series of lectures on this. When a person has been reduced to less than zero, you have to get him back to zero for it to become positive. His behavior. All right. So for a lot of us, our Islam is still negative because we never got to the positive stage. We be looking at each other. A lot of superficial stuff. How long is our beard? Whether or not we said this word right. But the brotherhood part, we missed that.
But that's interesting how, and I see this in terms of what Imam Muhammad has given us on the one hand, and those that portray this more brotherly and affectionate presentation, but the al-Islam that they're presenting is a lot weaker.
Yeah, well, I think that they going back to talking about with the empathy and the those human qualities are not developed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? See, I can have an exterior. I know all the expression and all kinds of stuff, but I don't. You know, the love and the trust are not there.
But it's interesting. I saw this and I see
Mm-hmm.
this in Imam, the way Imam Muhammad produced to us, his his compassion for us, understanding which we were coming out of in the Nation of Islam, what we had experienced, beginning with chattel slavery and
Mm-hmm.
the dysfunctional influences that were placed in us over hundreds of years. I
Mm-hmm.
see that compassion, but I don't see, like you're saying, we're not seeing it in terms of those that may say Imam Muhammad says this, but the kind of brotherhood that you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
we're not
Well,
displaying
I
that.
tell you, I remember when we used to travel. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I got to the point where I couldn't take it anymore because people was trying to make the imam a ilaha,
Yes,
but I saw that it was a lot of their behaviors to me were hypocritical. My question is, where are they now? A lot of brothers on security had about 20 brothers with the imam.
yes.
Where are they now? You know what I'm saying? Where what happened? We
There's
traveled with
consequences. There's consequences for lack of sincerity.
absolutely. See, and sincerity is one of the keys. You got to be sincere to the mission, not to the
Yes,
personality.
yes,
See, you can be sincere and love the personality, but you don't love the mission because the
mm,
mission is almost. I always use the example of the passing of our Prophet Sallallahu and how Omar reacted and
yes,
how Abu Bakr reacted.
yes. I
Abu,
studied it. I
that's something
studied that.
we got to study that because what happened is that if you don't understand how that affects your whole psychological being, if you can't accept reality, then you undermine the mission.
Yes,
You got to be able to accept that life and death are things that are a part of nature.
yes.
All right. And much you may love a person, like your mother, but if she passed, you got to accept that she's gone.
My mama told me we didn't come here to stay.
That's right. They didn't come here to stay, and you try to do as much as you can to leave a legacy so that those
Yeah,
coming behind you will be, have at least something for them to step on. Don't leave them to be in the mud.
yes.
You know what I mean?
That,
So, but like I said, but I think that that is going to that's something that we're going to have to address.
and I
We're going to
looked
have
at
to address the lack of brotherhood in our community.
I looked at the way Abu Bakr addressed the circumstances that the community was in trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Omar was out of his mind, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak.
Mm-hmm. He couldn't accept it.
And so Abu Bakr did not address him directly. And I think that's important in terms of the overall what Allah, we can't see or address Allah directly. We communicate with him, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
and, and, and knowing that he sees us, but we can't see him. You
Right.
know, that idea, the concept of indirect approach
Right.
is what
Well, it's like this.
Allah.
Well, that concept is given in the Quran in this way. He says,
Mm,
man is created from the rib and the backbone. The backbone is your backbone will go straight up and down.
yes.
That's one way you can approach a problem. The rib is curved.
Ah,
The rib is curved. So sometimes you gotta know how to come at a person, not straight at them, but in a curve. And that
yes.
curve also shows love. You put your hand around like, yo, brother,
Yeah.
rather than
Yeah.
come, brother, you right for confrontation. So,
Yes.
so, so the Quran gives us those strategies.
Allahu Akbar.
but we just got to know how to use them.
Yes, sir.
And the key thing is you got to, do what the Prophet said, love for your brother, what you love for yourself. Because
Yes,
you're not trying to win an argument. You're trying to help a person get over a situation, a traumatic situation.
yes.
You know what I mean?
Question, Imam.
Yeah,
Can we go to the audience, the
yeah,
participants?
absolutely. Yeah. In fact, I was looking at that for a few minutes ago. We only got about another half hour or less.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So, dear audience, we want to open it up for your reflections, your questions. The things that you have been stimulated to think about with Imam Muhammad Abdul Haleem's presentation thus far. And we'd like to hear from you to add to this directional language. So the floor is open if you want to raise your hand. If you're on the phone, star nine, so that we know that you want to join the conversation. Star six will unmute you, and you have the mute button, the unmute button, and the reactions for raising your hand available to you on the computer. So, Imam Kareem, I saw your hand up very early. You did you have your uh, perception helped by the presentation, and we want to have anything that you'd like to address? I'm calling you particularly Kareem Hamid because you did have your hand up very, very early. Okay.
So, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Thank you.
salam to Allah.
Thank you, Imam Muhammad. Praise be to Allah.
Baby to Allah.
So I'm grateful for you giving the definition of suhoor. Suhoor. We use that, you know,
Hmm.
and this is the first time that I have truly heard, and I have used it. Well, and this is the first time I've heard of the a definition of suhoor.
Hmm.
When you said it means to be vigilant.
Yes.
Vi- Uh, we have natural appetites that we feed out of habit without even thinking, you know. But in the month of Ramadan, we have to be vigilant
Hmm. Hmm.
and not move on habit.
Right.
All year long, you get hungry, you just go on and eat without even thinking.
Hmm.
But here comes a point in your life where you have to become vigilant,
Hmm.
vigilant of your drives, your appetites, and your habits.
Hmm.
And I'm grateful that you shared that because that is so important, the vigilance, and plus the eating is halal.
Hmm.
It's halal. It is permissible. But during the month of Ramadan, we are to be vigilant.
Even in the halal.
Yes, even with the halal. Yes, sir. We've been uh, practicing the halal all year. But here comes a special month. We have to become aware now of our habits and our appetites and be vigilant in that 24 first day, in that 24 hour. Well, I won't say 24 hours, not 24 hours, but during the period that of
Daylight.
daylight. Yes,
Hmm.
sir. We have to call Allah to remembrance and stay
Hmm.
vigilant on that
Hmm.
in order to get the benefit. And I thank you for
You're welcome, my brother. Always
one.
a pleasure, brother, man.
Yes,
Always a pleasure.
thank, thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I stop right there, and my ears are wide open. Praise be to
So,
Allah. I'm
Thank
grateful for you. Assalamu alaikum.
well, alaikum salam to Allah.
I have a question. I see a relationship between uh, the name of the month after the first day of the Eid is the first day of the month of Shawwal. But there's a word in the family that suggests, in the family of those that triliteral root, that suggests a behavior that we should be conscious of coming out of Shawwal. Shawil is the word,
Hmm.
and I would question how you saw that. You know, you've given us insight into uh, Sahur, which I greatly appreciate, and it shows me the need for at least some of us to dig deep. You know, to go as deep as we can in terms of understanding and sharing the Quranic insights
Hmm.
that will help.
Yes, sir. That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, see, the key is to do what you just did. Maybe I should mention that is that uh, of the terminology that we use, especially during associated with Ramadan, all right, is to try to try as much as possible to look into them. Don't just pick them up, but actually look into them and see what Allah bless you with.
Yes.
I mean, don't just pick up language, you know, because remember now, Ramadan is a ritual month. It's not your regular say month on the calendar, even though it's a month on the calendar. But
Yes.
there is a whole new vocabulary, and I would try to learn what those words mean.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like I found, uh, Shawwal is the month, and Shawil is the activity. We used to say in the nation, be fast moving, quick thinking, right down to the modern time.
Hmm.
And one of the meanings of Shawil has to do with just that, you know, to we come out of the month, the ritual month of Ramadan, actively working
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, that's good. Yes.
to demonstrate our faith, you know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
more importantly, the directional language of the faith is to establish a life to protect the faith, a community.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Praise
Hmm.
be to Allah. Anyone else? You're
Yes,
welcome.
it's Kareem again. I'm
Yes, sir.
Kareem Hamid from out of St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm glad that you mentioned the lunar and the solar calendar. Uh, we have been given the idea that a day starts when there is daylight, but the day starts in the night. The Ramadan begins when we observe the crescent. That is a day.
Hmm. That's the beginning of the day. You're right.
Yes, sir. But we've been trained to think that day is when there is light, but there is daylight. The day is present, and the sun rises, and there is light.
Hmm.
So the day begins in the night, the darkness. Then Allah says, "Let there be light." Stop
Hmm.
right there, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm thinking of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad now. How wonderful it is when brothers and sisters of like minds can come together.
Hmm.
It's a
Yes,
beautiful
sir.
thing.
That's why I
Alhamdulillah.
say, you know, the more we do stuff like this, and we will expand on this part of it, which I really enjoy to see what people are thinking because you know that's how you develop that like mindedness. You know, people who are thinking about situations and are making a contribution. That's the key. I remember when we would travel with the Imam. The Imam always wanted to hear what we had to think. A lot of times nobody said anything out, but
Yes,
but he always he always solicited people to make a contribution. And that's the key because there's no one individual that has all the answers.
that's right.
Hmm.
That's right.
Everybody can make a contribution.
And
Mhm.
Prophet Muhammad, prayers and peace be upon him. Prophet Muhammad demonstrated that.
Absolutely. And see,
He was
well, see
not a
on that
dictator.
point, let me say this, brother Michael. the more you study. First of all, the more you study Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu, you see how I would say without hesitation the behaviors of Imam Muhammad was like a part of that directional language, showing
Yes.
you how Prophet Muhammad how he lived among his companions. The man was
Yes.
the same way.
I
So so
studied
so
that.
you know so it excuse me it encouraged one to study Prophet Muhammad even more
Yes.
because to see those behaviors that the Imam exhibited. You want to see how they were connected to the life of the Prophet, because one of the things that I find very important, especially in the time we're at now, is to try to understand what happened with the passing of the Prophet. How did the community react?
Mm.
Right? And see, we all know about how you see Revelation and again the wars and stuff. They make a lot of emphasis on that. But I
Yes.
would I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you the key for us is seeing how did the community react at the leadership, which is represented by Prophet Muhammad with his passing. How did people react then? Because remember now, for example, once the Prophet passed, that's when Aisha and Ali had opposite wars. Within a few years of the Prophet's passing, they were fighting each other.
Yes.
And we're not necessarily fighting each other with armies, but we're fighting each other a lot of times with ego. We
Right.
have too much what I call superstar imams. Let's see if some other people. I
Yes.
mean, because we want to know, we should want to know is what's coming behind us. I mean, I know I want to know that. I want to listen to some of the people who are younger, but I know that in a few years, God knows best. They're gonna have to take the role that we have now. I want to
That's
make sure
right.
that they have some understanding of what we gave our lives to. But yeah,
Yes.
so one of the things that I'm doing, I'll share this with you. The last couple of Ramadans, I've been trying to gather as many books on the life of the Prophet, but I'm only reading the part of his passing and those years. And for example, you know that Washington, you know the American author Washington Irving.
Yeah.
Have you heard of him?
The philosopher. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote the book Rip Van Winkle.
Mm.
The
Yes.
man who slept for 100 years.
Yes.
Well, that's from the Quran. You know that 100 years sleeping, right? But more importantly, he did a 2 volume set on Muhammad and his successors. A lot of people don't know that. It's one of the first books written on the life of the Prophet and the four rightly guided caliphs. And I just pointed out because more than just, in fact, in this time we had a lot of books written by Muslims. But in years gone by, most of the books written on the life of the Prophet was written by what's called the Orientalists, and Washington Irving was one of them.
Yes.
But that's something we should really know what happened once the Prophet died, and how long did it take before Islam really uh, 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 righted itself? Because what happened was, for example, Abu Sufyan and his son Muawiyah, who had been some of the biggest enemies of Islam in Mecca, they became the Khalifa in
Yes.
Damascus, and the Umayyan tribe, they became the leaders of Islam in Damascus for almost 100 years.
Yes.
But eventually, Islam reverted and got back to the Abbasi, the people who were related to the Prophet. And Islam had its greatest renaissance, greatest when the Caliphate moved from Damascus back to Baghdad.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. So
Yes.
but I'm saying though, my point I'm saying is, I would remind myself and remind other people that we are going through a period where a lot of things we want to see happen, it may not happen, maybe in the next group. But we know that as long as we have the purity of the Quran and the purity of intentions of those who are studying the Quran, it's going to happen, because history shows that those who treasure the Quran eventually give birth to the type of enlightened mind that was intended from the beginning.
Thank you.
It's very important, very important.
We got a participant caller in user. You have your hand up. You're on the phone. Uh, *6 and unmute yourself. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wait a
Alaikum
minute,
salam.
Yes,
Introduce
my name
yourself.
is Amatullah. Yes, sir,
Yes.
Amatullah.
Welcome.
And I live in Milwaukee. My question has to be in regard to the fasting, and of course, out of obedience, I've done it over all the years, but it's in the Quran, it talks about fasting on the night, but we start fasting as soon as, we break our fast. I'm sorry, fasting on the days and breaking it in the night. We break our fast as soon as the sun goes down, and it's still very light outside. And I've always wondered why the word layl is in the Quran. You know, that's when we can break our fast. But yeah, we break our fast when it's still daylight.
Well,
and has anyone ever heard the explanation?
well, hold on. Now, you're saying that the Quran says what now? That we break the fast. We break the fast at the time of the Maghrib, right?
That's what we do out of tradition, yes.
Right. Okay, but what happened though is that is once the sun sets, right, and if you take it into consideration, the making wudu, you getting ready to make the prayer. See, you usually supposed to take something light, very light, before you go make the prayer. And then, but by the time you finish with the prayer and everything, you and the brother Kareem made this point a few minutes ago. Our night begins when the sun sets. That's the Layla. The night has the night it's time for the Maghrib, and you usually make the Maghrib, and then after that you go and pray, because that is considered nighttime. Is that the question you're asking? Hello?
Yes. The question was, yes, it's to me, nighttime symbolizes when darkness is upon the earth, and so, but our nighttime during Ramadan seems to come when the sun goes down. But even though it takes anywhere from a half an hour to an hour or even more for the darkness to come upon the earth, the night. So okay. I've always just wondered as to why we can break our fast and it's still daylight. Although, as I said before, yes, when Imam had established that, of course, I obediently, followed. Yeah. But I did wonder. Yeah, I wondered.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, it's good to wonder and question too, because we could be doing something wrong, but in this case we're not, because the night is at the time of the setting of the sun, and it goes until the ruddy glow of the sun is gone. Right. That's the time of, say, the Maghrib. Layla, a night, is it's not just the darkness. It is the sun is no longer visible, but from the perspective of an observer, you still can see parts of the sun. Yeah, you can. Just like in the morning, you can like starting the fasting during the day. I mean, do it in the morning. You know, you can start fasting when it's still dark out too. You can start the fast when it's night.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And immediately though, when we see the any signs of light, then we immediately stop
Right. Exactly.
eating.
Yeah.
I appreciate the discussion because it's it's showing, as you said earlier, that sometimes we have different definitions
Right.
of words.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to learn what our definitions are. So,
But what the situation we're in require. See, for example, you got to keep this in mind. The whole thing of Ramadan, I don't know whether I talk about this or not, but it's based on intention.
Yes,
You intend to fast. You intend to break your fast. Now, if you're in a situation where you thought it was already say nighttime, you thought it was already that the fast was over, and you went and ate something. Then somehow you had a curtain or whatever that came back and realized, oh, they still got another half hour or so. The probably will always say there's no harm because actions are judged by intent, right? If you intend to fast that day, which you made that intention, and something happens, whether you ate something before or whatever, you know, you still get credit for that because see, remember now, you don't get hung up on the physical eating or not eating. Out of sincerity, you are doing what you're doing, whether it's eating or not eating. How sincere are you in trying to follow and be obedient to the word of God and the example of his prophet? And the prophet made it clear to us that we should always be aware that we are doing things by intent. What is your intention? That's why you should always, what you should be concerned about is stating your intention. And whether or not you complete that, Allahu Alam.
yes,
Because the person could go through the whole fast and never acknowledge that he's doing it for Allah. Maybe he's doing it for his own self. He's trying to look good. So make sure you make your intent. That's the key. That's what I'm saying. Make your intent.
And one brief comment. Once I think we were at a Ramadan session, I believe it was, and when the sun had gone down, and then Imam was cautioning us about bringing it exactly on that minute, although we are to not prolong the fast, but he was saying that there were different, and I've noticed the same thing on my phone. I could have 3 different sunset times, or either have a chart that someone has printed out that has sunset times on it, and he just told us to be a little cautious when we're choosing the time to break the fast because people could have put different times on it. Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you for your questions and comments. This is important, in my opinion, to add to the environmental framework of the directional language. The questions as well as your comments and responses are important. And I look forward, like you do, Imam Abdul Haleem, I look forward to hearing the expressions that are different from my own.
Mm-hmm.
I have a body of knowledge, but every participant and person on the YouTube, they have a body of knowledge. They have a perspective that
Mm-hmm.
we need to hear. And if we can help to improve each other's perspective
Mm-hmm.
and perception, this is valuable to the community life, as I
Mm-hmm.
see it. Alhamdulillah. So we've got about 2 minutes left. Any final comments? And can you share, you'll be back with us next week?
Inshallah, I'm trying to, next week we're going to go further into the Ramadan and the Quran.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get us all rooted in the Quran so that our thinking, it will come from that.
Yes.
Because I think that as a community, I think we get a lot more out of what the Imam gave us if we can also connect the definitions to the Quran. And I'm telling you, I mean, wallahi, I'm telling you, if we could, and especially for those sisters just mentioned something that brought to my mind. If you went to the Ramadan sessions and you have any of the Ramadan manuscripts, now is the time to begin to dissect them for further clarification. Because remember, the Quran says, Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Qur'an hudan lin-nas wa bayyinati min al-huda. He says, the Ramadan at the moment which the Quran was revealed as guidance for humanity and clear, rational argument, clarity from the guidance. And a lot of times we didn't get the full clarity because it's just so much was going on there. Now we got time to really study and digest what the Imam gave us. So when we have these sessions, it's important. Come with your questions and your contributions. It's very important to make sure that we are still going all in the same direction.
And what is that directional? What is the directional? What's the word I'm looking for? Where we come to the destiny. What destiny are we moving towards in this direction?
Remember now, our goal is to see Islamic life established in a community.
Thank you. That's the goal. That's
the goal. But I say again, but we know that many of us won't be around when that goal is reached. But what's our destiny? What's our direction right now? We got to go deeper into the Quran so we can tie the Quran to what we got from the Imam. Yes. But now we see them as two separate things that they're not. What the Imam gave us, next we got to go deeper in it. We can see the natural synthesis of these things. And if you've been to these sessions with the Imam, I hope, inshallah, we're going to get even more out of them because we're going to dig deeper into them, inshallah.
I see. But there's something that I think maybe some of us miss. The Imam, you're talking about the Quranic. DeLacy, I'm going to acknowledge you. I see your hand. Because we do have some time. We're right at the top of the hour. We can take a few more minutes. But the Imam Muhammad identified his language that he does not speak unless he's speaking from Scripture.
That's right.
Now that's a discipline to incorporate the guidance to where you consciously know that when you speak, you're speaking from that perception and guidance, not necessarily the literal words.
No. You don't want to do it. You want to have the living word, we call it. See, when you live in something, you don't have to mimic. You are demonstrated by how you're living.
Allahu Akbar.
That's we want to make sure more of us, because I think sometimes we think that somehow we didn't get all of the thing because we didn't use Arabic. Trust me. What we got from the Imam, I think, inshallah, we're going to show you that we can, and we started tonight by what? Man means mind.
Yes.
And you see that, and we just touch very lightly on the subject. Yes. Inshallah, but we make sure we go in the right direction first. We don't start running until we know that we're going the right way. Otherwise, you'd be lost. All right. Inshallah.
DeLacy Imam, welcome.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Just wanted to make a comment on Maghrib and Layla. It's, in Surah Shams, وَلَيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَاهَا, by the night as it conceals the sun. So it covers it. So it's really, Maghrib is the sunset, and the night is, it shares like it's nighttime. Layla Ida Yakshaha, by the night as it conceals the sun. So when it becomes dark, then it's night. And then Maghrib is from the time the sun set to that ruddy glow till it clears out of the sky. It becomes dark.
Mhm.
And just for just to make it a little simple there. Well,
Yeah, I would appreciate it. Yes.
That's that comment. That's all.
Thank you, Delay.
Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah. So, last call for the night shift.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Uh,
Salam.
and I'm grateful to Imam DeLacy. He mentioned when as it conceals the sun.
Yeah,
It doesn't say when it conceals the light. The sun has set. The sun is no longer visible. That is the night. Not just the darkness, when the sun is no longer visible. A new day has started. I'll stop right there, my brother. Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else before we close out? We're going to make a dua. Again, we thank Imam Muhammad Abdul Haleem for sharing with us on this Ramadan focus that is within the directional language for our Islamic community development. So next week, tell your family and friends, your in-laws and your outlaws that we're going to be here at 8 o'clock Eastern. The program is not just talk on American Muslim 360 uh, every Thursday night. And so we appreciate Imam Muhammad. Uh, we're going to close out with a dua. Oh Allah, guide us among those you've guided aright. Save us among those you save. Bless us in whatever you give us and deliver us from the harm that you judge. You judge, and none can judge against you. And those whom you befriend are not disgraced. Ameen. Thank you, everyone.
Amen.
Thank you, Imam. Assalamu
Inshallah. I
alaikum.
look forward to seeing y'all next week, inshallah.
Yes,
And
yes,
we'll
sir.
be a little closer to the ritual month of Ramadan.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, everyone.
And Michael, I want you to figure out the difference between Easter and Christmas.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll work on
Something
that.
there, something very important.
But every time you say Easter, I keep seeing rabbits and chickens and things.
That's right. It's a rebirth. It's a rebirth. And at the end of Ramadan is Eid al-Fitr,
Yes,
the rebirth too.
rebirth. Yes. Alhamdulillah. I see the connection.
Yes, sir. All right, now, inshallah. You got to be safe out there now.
Thank you, everyone.
And that was a
Assalamu
pleasure.
alaikum. Alhamdulillah. And
Remember
sister,
Allah, Allah remember you.
yeah, Ameen. 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 I'm trying to find, what am I trying to find? Martha, can you administrate the the end of the YouTube for us, please?